Hello, hello, and welcome to Celebrate Aging Today. I'm Vicki Marthaler, your hostess, and I have a wonderful guest with us today. Her name is Kathryn Roberts, and she is from Shoreview, right? I always want to say Shoreham because we've got a Shoreham around here, but Shoreview, which is our head office in Minnesota, because Emmanuel is part of a company called Ecumen. It's a nonprofit organization that specializes in caring for people. And Ecumen, as you see, E-C-U-M-E-N, it is actually a made-up name. It comes from the Greek word oikos, which means home. And so we thought that was a very appropriate name for this organization, which has been ongoing for how many years now?
Almost 150.
150 years. And the three buzzwords that we're going to lift up today and talk about, because we want you to know that Detroit Lakes is part of a bigger organization that continues to care for people all over the state and even outside of the state, because we're growing and expanding and thinking about aging in radically different ways. That's what we're going to hear from Kathryn. But the three buzzwords we're concentrating on now are innovate. It's kind of a big fancy word, isn't it? Innovate, empower, and honor. And so with that, I'd like to introduce you to Kathryn Roberts and just share a little bit about your role as a CEO for this organization and your hopes and dreams for not only the people who are with you, but the people we care for.
I am in the absolute best job that I could be in. I have the good fortune of working with about 4,000 fabulous people.
Oh, do you know all their names?
Well, no. They are people who come to work every single day with passion in their heart, with a mission to serve people who are aging. And really, it's fabulous.
It is fabulous, I agree.
It's fabulous. And we served, Ecumen last year served about 17,000 people.
Now, is that in the state of Minnesota?
It is primarily in the state of Minnesota, but we recently, about a year ago, opened a site in Sandpoint, Idaho. Ooh. That's as far away from Shoreview as we've been so far. And we will expand, I think, into other states, but we want to make absolutely certain that when we do that, the staff that work for us and the people that we serve understand that we are about these three words, as you said before. We are a company that is all about innovation, empowerment, and honoring each other and the people we serve.
That's right.
And we are also, what this means, the way these three words came about was because Ecumen's vision is to change the way people view aging in radically different ways.
And we are all aging.
Well, I am.
You know what? And it's my birthday today,
yeah,
so I know I'm aging.
Happy birthday. I know I am.
I have quite a collection of years under my belt.
Me too, and thank goodness, right?
Yes.
Hallelujah for that. I know that when the time comes when I need services, and I hope that I'm old enough that the time comes I do need some services, I want really the very best possible services available to me, and I want to be able to make some choices about how I live my life.
Absolutely.
And I think in the past, services companies, people who provide services for aging, we have a tendency to say, I think I know what you need.
Right. So we bring them.
Right. We bring our
menu.
bias.
Yeah.
Right. Here's your menu, and really it only has 4 choices today. And what Ecumen is doing is saying, I'll bet there's 20 things you'd like to choose from, and I'll bet what you want is really different than what I want. And we need to be innovators, and we need to empower each other to take some risks and try some different things so that we're really meeting our needs and the needs of all the people that we're serving.
Totally. Well, and of course, we're living in 2010, and if this has been around for 100 years, people didn't live the same 100 years ago.
And we now, I think with the way technology is moving and lifestyles are changing, and of course here comes the thump, thump, thump of boomers, of which you and I are a part of, right?
Go boomers!
Right, go boomers is right. And I think the same way the school system's changed and the same way child care changed, and we've been pushing systems to change our whole lives.
And so here we are.
Here we are, and we're pushing on the next one, and that's about how we want to be treated as we age.
Yes.
And Ecumen and Emmanuel here in Detroit Lakes needs to be right at the leading edge of delivering those kinds of services. And Emmanuel really is on the cutting edge of being creative, of saying to itself, if it's not illogical, it's not illegal, it's not immoral, the answer is yes. And that, I love that.
How can we make it happen?
How can we make it happen? And that is the spirit, I think, of this company.
Well, I can see that last summer when we were building our cottage and our respite rooms, that was on the cutting edge because there were no respite rooms offered, and the cottage was a new kind of idea. And right now we see that it is actually has a waiting list.
Right, I'm not surprised.
So we are listening to the people, and I think that's a big thing, is we have to listen to those in our community saying, what are we hearing? What do they want? How can we meet that need? Do we have the resources to do that, or how do we get the resources to do that?
Right, and I think one of the things that the Emmanuel community does so nicely is that you don't just listen, you really actively listen. So if the community says it's respite services that we need, or we just don't know how to manage Dad when we want to go on vacation, you really, because you're listening so hard, you figure out the solution.
Yes.
And you've done that many times, and really are an example for the rest of the system of Ecumen, and really show best practices. And we love that.
Yes.
And you are about empowering seniors to live in the most independent way they can, with the most dignity and integrity. You're empowering and honoring and innovating to do that.
Well, I know one of the areas we're growing in too is in home health care, to not just bring people into the facility and surround them with four walls, but to go to them in their home and to say, let us help you stay here well and safely.
Right.
Those kinds of things too. So that we're growing in that area, and I think you were mentioning of all the other places in the state of Minnesota, that is something that almost everyone is looking at. How do we continue to reach out of our buildings and reach out into the community?
Right, and we all know from experience with friends or family members, people first want to stay in their own home.
Sure.
And we want to make sure that people aren't socially isolated.
Please,
we want to, we want to make sure that people are safe, and that they're receiving the support services that they need. But still, they want to be in their own homes. So the question is, how do we start to become really creative about offering those kinds of services? And they might not always be medical. I think we go always first to, we're medical services, it must be, and really, it's as much about social services as it is about medical services. So how do we make sure people stay connected? How do you develop a Facebook system for seniors, right?
That's
so they can stay connected in their community and show the pictures of their grandkids and find out when the local fish fry is, but have that communication even though they're in their homes by themselves. Or how do you get your sidewalk shoveled, or how do you get your grandkids picked up at the airport? We need to figure out how to do it.
We got a whole list of things to look at.
Right, as many as we could dream of.
We know that people are aging, and we know that Emmanuel is a resource in this community, not only just by itself, but connected to a larger organization that cares just as passionately and as much as we do here in Detroit Lakes. But we want to care for people, and we want to hear from you. So if you've got some burning needs, or think, you know, when I ever need services, I wonder if somebody does this, we'd love to hear from you, because we've got listening ears, and we have creative minds, and we've got resources and passion and this mission within us to give care. So keep talking, we'll keep listening, and this is Vicki with Kathryn wishing you the very best.
Thanks.